and we just, if you don't mind, we will have like a Q&A question session, and it will be like, if you don't mind, okay?
Yeah, for sure. I
Okay.
so I
Yes.
just so first one, um, could you please tell me like what is the situation right now here in the Ukraine? Yeah,
Actually, there is war.
yeah.
And what do you want to know about the children and families, or just overall situation in
I just the
Ukraine?
children, especially children and families.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you know that our organization, SOS Children's Villages Ukraine,
yeah,
are like the biggest in Ukraine, who help the foster families and children.
yeah.
And actually, nowadays, luckily, we have evacuated almost all our families abroad, and but there is a lot of children who stayed there in the eastern part of Ukraine, because I'm actually located in western part of Ukraine. And nowadays, the eastern part of Ukraine, for example, Kiev, Kharkov, Sumy, the biggest cities in the that district, are bombed, and there is a really extremely difficult situation about transportation from that hot like districts abroad or in the different safe place, and especially these days, like the sixth and seventh days of war, were really extremely hot, because Russian army started bombing civil places, all the emergencies, all the hospitals, etc. So they don't see any circumstances that not to bomb, actually. So this is like the situation overall.
Okay.
Children were okay when it came, like we have, luckily we have an internet connection almost through all Ukraine, and we communicate, or our government communicate with us via Telegram chatbots, Viber chatbots, Facebook chats, and we know when the air bombs are going, and actually try to hide in bomb shelters. And there are some families and some kids which spend maybe 5-6 nights at the bomb shelter and not coming out, and some stuck even behind these buildings, ruined buildings. And for today, for example, there were found couple children's under these blocks. Yeah, so we as organization were basically our so we were faced on that part of Ukraine, and we worked there. We worked basically in Kiev region and Luhansk region. And now 60% of our people, our employees, stayed there and help families in difficult circumstances, because we work not just with foster families, we work together with families in like difficult circumstances. And actually those families stayed in the occupied territory because they didn't have any ability to go and to evacuate
So
before.
mhm.
Yes, please.
So what are some strategies you are implementing for supporting children through this like a tragic conflict?
Yeah. First of all, we are cooperating with all the local organizations, non-governmental organizations, volunteers. We are cooperating really in a very operative, informatically effective way, and trying help people, children, foster families, just families with kids, was first transmitting all the information to closest located forces who could help.
Mm-hmm.
Second, our families still are in connection with all our psychologists, teachers, social workers,
Okay.
and our team, and we support them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Third, our international partners, our peers, SOS Poland, SOS Czech Republic, and like our border
Yeah.
neighbors, they helped us a lot with this evacuation process because of they I'm so sorry. So they met our kids and our families on the border, and help
Mm.
them then to find where to live, where to stay,
Yeah.
help to find food, etc. Um,
I heard about
yes.
this morning you moved more than 100 people to Poland, right?
We have for today's we have
Yeah.
more than 500,000. No,
Wow.
six 665,000 people
Mm-hmm.
crossed the border. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't have numbers exactly from Poland because we have a couple borders.
Mm-hmm.
And for today's morning, it was more than 600,000 people. But a lot of people stayed here in Ukraine, and saying about children without parents who stayed in their institutional houses. There's in Ukraine there were almost 100,000 such a kids, but there was maybe 10,000, approximately 10,000 children without parents, and like 90,000 it was the children which were like located in institutions, but they
Mm-hmm.
had parents which couldn't manage to raise their child. And actually this is the worst part, and actually we try to evacuate all this institutions all together with governmental structures, with NGOs, like I mentioned before, partners NGOs.
Yeah. So, what type of support that you still need? What kind of support? Yeah.
Yeah, we still need some transportation from
Mm-hmm.
the hottest regions, but there is no way to get there. We still need, as our bank system is working now, we still need some money to
Mm-hmm.
have ability actually transfer this money directly to people to their
Mm-hmm.
credit cards, that they can actually pay for different solutions for transport, for food, for
Okay.
medicine, etc. Because there are a lot of people who already gathered a ton of humanitarian help, and but unfortunately we had an ability to transfer this help out there to the hottest topic, hottest cities.
So, okay. So,
And the really important, from all society, just talk out loud that here is
mm,
really a cruel war, and
yeah.
that our cities are ruined, our kids are dying, and
Mm-hmm.
that we should stop this.
I'm so sorry to hear that. So, but I just wondering, hey, are there any measures like agreements with the government for protecting children through
uh,
moments for a crisis such as a current war with Russia? Yeah, I just wonder, does it have any connection with the government? And yeah,
uh,
and
you
also,
know what, I can't answer this question because I have no information about the government
oh, no
and
worries, no worries. They just ask us randomly, no worries. So,
mhm.
what are the difficulties now for supporting children? Because right now it's the war conflict, right?
um,
Yeah, how are you going to overcome these difficulties and help this vulnerable
okay.
population? Yeah.
The difficulty about kids nowadays is their fear and
Mm-hmm.
their psychological unreadiness as adults as well in this situation. And the difficulties is whenever somebody crosses the border, we became refugees. Ukrainian people never believe and never were prepared that to become refugees. And this is not just about kids; it's about an adult as well. But about kids, they need first help, not just psychological. They need parents, but some of them stayed without parents already, and they will need to renew educational process, because all educational process in Ukraine stopped. Later, they will need the employing process, and not just about it's not about kids, it's youth, it's young people who just stayed there and didn't want to come to safe territories.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the current international situation, just like you mentioned, is a kind of a chaos, right? You need several like a support for transporting or the boarding the people to any other places. And this is kind of like crisis will have the negative impact on the development of the country. So for the
Sissy,
peaceful,
I'm so sorry. Sissy, sorry, can you repeat, please?
all right. So I mean, the current international situation and crisis will have the negative impact on the development of the country. So I was just wondering, for the peaceful future transition of the state of the war to a democratic structure, what improvements do you think are needed to be made for the care for children? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Just like what do you think of that?
This is extremely difficult question. However, I'm sure that it should be cooperation with, especially here in Ukraine, because I can talk even like in terms of government. I will talk just about
Yeah, no worries.
like in terms of just our organization, or me as Victoria Gudova.
Mm-hmm.
I think that first of all we have to remember that every child needs a loving home, a loving family.
Mm-hmm.
So the best strategy for development, like good society, will be create as much families, foster families as we can, not to uh, give children to these institutions, because we will lose a lot of potentially great society later.
Okay.
This is the most really important thing, how to develop our society. For example, like Europe, a couple of countries in Europe, they don't have these institutions anymore, and they're successful. So this is first. Then just to have really best practices, best case management, and implement it in all the stages of children education.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the like NGOs, are you gonna have like a more supported for the people here right now in the Ukraine?
Uh, I'm sure yes. However, there was a situation that our people had to care about themselves, about their family,
Mm-hmm.
and what we see, because we have like NGO, we have regular donors and
Mm-hmm.
who pay every month, and this is really our core. And we have like one time of donors, and we have a lot of our partners who donate for us from abroad, and our partner organization as well. So regarding our Ukrainian people, they will support, but nowadays they do everything they can, with money, with humanitarian help, with transport, with so we are like collaborating like one fully. I don't know, really strong nation. There is no difference between my kids and your kids. We just try to help everyone
Yeah.
with money, with stuff, with everything we can, with information, with our mind. So we try to do our best.
Okay. Okay. So last question. So
Yes, Sissy.
could you please just like outline or like a proposal from the before the war and between the before the war and right now, how they're gonna to how the children care changed, like a before the war, how are you gonna to change, how are you gonna to treat for the children about the children care, and right now, how are you gonna change the strategy way to the children? Yeah, especially to the children.
I think then in the stuff didn't have to change a lot. How we treat children, how we educate children.
Yeah.
This is just for us. This is just circumstances temporarily bad. I hope
Mm,
that there is
mm,
temporarily, and we have like SOS Children's Villages. We have our strategy,
mm-hmm.
which is actually you can go to our website and just
Yeah, yeah,
see
yeah.
there
I
is really
saw
good
that.
statements. So we believe that step by step and case management works for all the kids, and we believe that when we share our experience, our beliefs, and our love to children,
Mm-hmm.
and when we just share everything we have openly, open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
then we just get the response like good one.
Okay.
And the strategy, as I mentioned before, they had all every child had to have a lovely family.
Yes.
This is the and to be protected. Especially, I think that our attention will be more careful or more precise these times on safeguarding children, because there's times when nowadays uh, they would need this guard from adults a lot.
Okay.
And the strategy will be maybe in nearest months when we talk when they are safe in a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
First, um, stabilizing on the psychological side, and then really safeguarding of all these issues.
Okay. Thank
Yes, yes.
you. I'm really thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Sissy,
Yeah.
for
Thank